We're headed back to San Antonio. Spurs are down 0-2. Stat from Josh that I haven't read yet. Stat from Josh. Wemby is the first player to have back-to-back finals games with a turnover in the final minute of the fourth quarter when the score was within 5 points. That's about as
first player ever?
First player ever.
Wow.
That's Josh's way of saying.
How did he find that stat?
That's Josh.
Not great.
Josh.
Not great.
Josh.
That's basically a sneak diss from Josh. Just factual, though.
That
I
is
love
a
that.
great answer.
I
Moments
love
like
that.
this
And that's
result
how-
Oh, we got a good shot, you know, a good make or miss league.
You know how they let players be in the press conferences? I wish they let coaches. Kenny Atkinson, second thought, following up.
Analytics.
Go ahead.
All right, we're saying the whole game, bro, is game 2 loss on Wemby.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I hesitate to put, he's the star without his 29 and 12, was it? Or 7.
Yes.
Without his 29 points, obviously they're not in that position. I was saying all week, and I said, Wemby giveth and Wemby taketh away. Because he was huge in that comeback.
Yep.
And he had 22 points in the second half. So he obviously played pretty well
And
then.
7 rebounds in the second half, 9 in the game.
9, okay,
yeah.
7 in the second.
Yeah.
And so, but look, literally he did with the turnover and then the foul, and Brunson hits the game-winning free throw, and that's it. He misses the potential game winner. So literally he did. But I'm looking at beyond the last minute and a half. I just thought he played so poorly in the first half, and that's when Cat clearly outplayed him, that I was actually thinking he played better in game 1 when he wasn't that good than he was in the first half of game 2.
Correct.
And he only took 4 shots. And I just think, and you can know this better than me, but for your teammates, when they see your best player not playing well, I feel like that can have an effect on them. And so I just felt like the whole game, the first half playing poorly, and then obviously down the stretch, that I would put this one on Wemby.
Yeah, I'll definitely put it on him too, just because of the first half, honestly. In that moment of that turnover, I blame Mitch Johnson. Because I'm like, call a timeout. Pop would have called a timeout. A seasoned veteran coach would have called a timeout there. The reason why you call a timeout there, because those guys are young. They're babies.
Yeah.
He's in his 3rd year. You're going to throw it to Castles in his 2nd year. What is he going to call? What is he going to do in that moment, right? Yeah. You have no idea. Call a timeout, and you guarantee and make sure you get the last shot of the game, and if we miss, we go into overtime.
Can I ask you a question now, just on that? Wemby is, and Castle won a championship in college. Wemby played in the gold medal game in the Olympics. Sometimes I see plays like this that would be bad plays in junior high basketball or youth basketball, where it's obvious, A, point guard don't run up the sideline, B, don't throw on the run to a guy running away. How does inexperience show up in the pressure of the finals, even though these guys are still seasoned basketball players in the grand scheme of things?
I think it's time and score. It's just the moment, right? And it's something that you obviously can't prepare yourself for in that moment, right? I just really think that, Wemby, he just had a brain lapse. You know what I'm saying? Because he threw it to a player whose back was to him. Right. At the end of the day, he never was really in position ever to receive that ball. So that's why, once again, I go back to Mitch. Just call the timeout, bro. Call the timeout and make sure you get a good shot. And if you miss, you go to overtime.
And is Mitch also a victim of inexperience?
For sure. That's the other thing, too, right? He's a young coach. His first time in that situation, it was just kind of the perfect storm.
So I do, because KW, I get what you're saying, which is these guys wouldn't make this mistake at UCLA in the summer in open run.
No.
What it reminded me of was how the Rockets found a way to lose that 6-point lead against the Lakers, where all the young guys, there was the dumb foul, and then LeBron back-tapping Reed Sheppard. Reed Sheppard was one of the best high school players in the nation, played at Kentucky, but in that moment, he hadn't been in that moment, and these guys haven't been in this moment. To answer the overall question, I think Brew was totally fair and correct. There have been 96 minutes played in these finals. Victor Wembanyama has looked like the best player on the court, let alone the best player on the planet, for 22 of them. The first 22 minutes of the second half of Game 2. Game 1, he was, in my opinion, the 3rd best player in the game at best, and Game 2, in the first half, was not one of the 7 best players on the court. And in the second half was unbelievable until the critical moments of the game where it wasn't just that turnover. And I think that one of the reasons the Knicks have been able to come back or prevent the Spurs from extending. There have been multiple times early in these games where it looked like Spurs are going to get a big lead. The Knicks have gotten so many critical offensive rebounds. Right. Wemby is, you cannot be giving up. This is the 6th straight game the Spurs have given up 10-plus offensive rebounds. 6 games in a row. And again, this is my own, hobby horse pet theory. Ever since Wemby started to wear down, it has shown up more than anything in the rebounding numbers. And again, 9 rebounds is not a bad total.
They're doing a great job.
But they're doing it. They are every time. Wemby is just getting chucked or bumped or hit every single time down the court.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And it is. And at one point, he got mad at Alvarado and threw him to the side.
Yep.
And so I just thought, if we run the rip of the 4 shots Wemby took in the final 2 minutes, one of them worked, and it was the one where this tallest guy on the court is diving to the basket. This one, down 3, minute and a half left. They're very lucky the game wasn't over here. Brunson, right after that one, had missed a layup. That one works great.
Love it.
Wemby driving to the basket.
Yep. Yeah.
This one, again, I think you can get a better shot than Mitch Robinson contested jumper. I don't hate this one, given when he got the ball, that he got it with 2.5 seconds left and he had a relatively open jumper. Yeah. But he could have gotten the ball earlier and done something, or they could have drawn something up where he's driving to the basket. He is considered by many the best player in the world. He has not been the best player on the court in any game in this series. There was a stretch where it looked like he was going to save it, but that stretch came off of what I think you could argue was the worst half he's played all season. That first half where I thought Chuck was great at halftime, talking about how it's been a long time since Wemby got his ass kicked like this, and then Chuck was talking about there's some guy in high school who was like, yeah, I did it. And I thought it was really informative, those moments. And Wemby did respond. And then at the end, I don't know if that's like the moment. I don't know if that's overall fatigue. I don't know what it is, but he wasn't at his best at the very end of the game.
Al, did it hit your radar, Wemby falling after he missed the jump shot, the final one?
No, he wasn't extremely confident in that shot for whatever reason. That's why he fell, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
Just like, when you like confident in a shot, it's usually a straight up and down motion. You land on your feet. When you fall back, it's just you begging. You're begging for the ball to go in.
Oh, you didn't think it was like trying to draw a foul?
They're thinking more SGA.
Nah, he wasn't trying to draw a foul on that. It was just like holding the ball as long as he could and praying that it went in.
Oh, that's interesting.
They could have, because they had gotten a play where Wemby got an alley-oop from Fox at the rim, like in the fourth quarter. They could have easily run something like that. And even if you can't get, like if Wemby's not open because the Knicks go with him, Fox is clutch and Fox was playing well, so you could have actually done something like that.
There's an old school play that when I came up that we ran, it was called a rub play. So you would call it rub the person's name. We would call it rub Wemby. And what you would have is you would have a point guard or like taking the ball out right there. You would have a guy like Reggie Miller or somebody rubbing the big man off, and then you just throw it to him. And if the big stays on the high side, Wemby's so big, it's now an alley-oop for him just right at the basket. They need to figure out ways to get him closer to the basket. And even for him right now, he's still so raw offensively, he has to figure out a go-to shot.
Correct.
He has to get a go-to shot. And that's the next level for him. So I think that this summer, if they win or lose, which is like I think they're going to lose, these are the things that he's going to have to work on to be able to keep that title of the best player in the world. Because he needs to have a spot.
Skyhook. I was like, it's just everybody's talking about
it's
Kareem's
there
footwork.
for all of them
What
to
about the
take it.
7'5" guy doing a skyhook?
Right.
Al, your wife just did
Al,
it. In the
you
background.
know.
It's not that hard. We all know what it looks like.
Right.
One guy did it. He had the points record for 40 years.
Right.
I've
like
been
it worked.
told players don't think it's cool.
Oh my
Guess
God!
what?
I gotta
Guess
stop
what?
with the coolness.
Guess who doesn't care about
Ow.
cool?
Am I
Wemby,
tripping?
no,
think you gotta be right.
No,
I'm serious.
you know what?
They do the little
Incorporated.
jump
Yeah,
look,
no,
but they, the
I
whole
get it.
that.
Guess Wemby was sitting in Washington Square Park sketching a statue 6 hours ago, down 0-2. He doesn't care about being cool. He's out.
Well, when is art's not cool now?
I'm saying.
That's
he's
pretty
a
cool.
different
Hanging
type
out
of
with
That
cat.
is
people.
cool, I
Yeah.
thought.
He's a
It might be
different type
a
of
hip
cat.
hop cipher
I'm
down there or
saying.
something. Shoot, you never know. Man, you know what I'm talking about.
He was sketching.
But they over there rapping.
I don't
Shoot.
Let me get in. You guys know French? Knicks have won 13 straight playoff games, second longest streak since the 2017 Warriors, who no one doubts is an all-time great team. In the process, they've outscored their opponents by 273 points, most ever in the playoffs, second most ever all-time in a 13-game stretch. Is anyone ready to call the Knicks a historically great team?
If they complete the sweep, I think we all have to say this is one of the greatest playoff runs we've ever seen.
There you go.
I think that is undeniable. I don't even think that's a matter of opinion.
Yep.
And we will also have to find a way to reconcile with ourselves, if they're not a historically great team, why they did something only historically great teams have done.
Love it.
And we can just rip through a few of these full screens quickly and then I'll pass the ball. 2 or fewer losses on way to the title. I don't think the 89 Pistons were an all-time great team, but they did go to 3 straight championships. They lost 1 in Game 7, so they're damn close. The 99 Spurs, weird year, and then Shaq and Kobe took over. But those are some of the best teams ever. The Knicks are 14-2 this postseason. Most
of those teams are
considered all-time great teams. 99 Spurs, maybe not, but it's the beginning. Maybe.
You had Duncan and Robinson.
Best point differential in a playoffs. Just roll through them, Dust. These are the 4 there. Those are considered 4 of the greatest teams of all time. And by the way, the previous graphic only included since we've gone to 3 rounds 3 rounds before the finals. So some of the historic teams aren't on there. And the longest winning streaks in playoff history, again, it's the greatest teams we've ever seen, and what none of them have done is sweep the final 3 rounds to a championship. No team in league history has ever swept semifinals, conference finals, finals. So again, there's a what if of if they not only win, but if they sweep, I think we're going to have to figure out why they're not one of those teams if they accomplish that.
I just think when you say like all-time team, I just think you got to include the regular season. So I think that is the place where that's the disconnect, right? But when you talk about playoff run, for sure, hands down. I mean, even if they lost 1 in this, I still feel like that this run that they went on is obviously incredible, right? So even for this one, they win this one next season. If they can go into next season and also put together a season where they only lose 13, 14 games and get to the playoffs and have success again, then I think we can start putting them in that conversation of all-time great team. But right now, I think it should be specific to the playoffs.
I agree with that totally. I mean, you can't deny the run. Like, it has to be viewed as one of the greatest runs. I mean, there's no question if they sweep or just even win this series. I'll hit it on the head. I've said before, there's one-off team, one-year champion that's kind of considered an all-time great. That's the 83 76ers with Moses Malone, Dr. J. They won 65 games in the regular season. There is another team. It was when Wilt and Hal Greer won it in 67 with the 76ers. They won 68 games, though. Like, if the Knicks had won, if they had gone 65 and 17, I think we would be looking at them as, and in this run, like, oh, yeah, they could maybe be an all-time great team. But so I think there's that. And I also think that while I think Cat will be a Hall of Famer along with Brunson, they don't have, like, Brunson who may go on to be a legend. But we don't look at these guys like Steph. And I mean, Steph's the only unanimous MVP. Does that mean he was the greatest MVP ever? No. So to me, them doing this in the playoffs, it's great, but I'll have to see it again. Like Al said before, I would put them amongst
so
the
and that's
Bulls
why
and the Warriors and stuff like that.
Well, but the Pistons is the comp that I want to use, not the 04, the 89.
But Isaiah was
Isaiah
a superstar legend.
but they didn't have a. And again, Rodman was a Hall of Famer.
Dumars.
But a lot of that's because of the winning, right?
Yeah,
and so, and the clumsy comp that I talked last week was, why can't Jalen Brunson be Isaiah Thomas? That Pistons team was not one of the greatest teams ever until they were. Until they just became it. You know what I mean? They
won 2 straight, almost 3.
They also, again, they made, the comps aren't 1-to-1, but they made a very controversial trade when they were already really good with Aguirre and Dantley. These guys did Randall and Towns. And
if the Knicks were to win it this year and win it next year, I don't think there's any doubt we think.
But KW doesn't like that.
No, I don't like it for a few reasons. One, I don't view it as just the way I view it. I don't look at it as a marathon or an ultra marathon like you guys do. Like, I thought Mike Brown's quotes about Cat when they were experimenting and growing and the team was transforming and trying to peak in the playoffs. They weren't throwing away the regular season. It felt like a process to get to this peak basketball team where they're at. That's the team I'm judging right now. Versus, I'm not counting your rough drafts, so to speak. I'm counting the final novel that you're writing now, and I'm judging this.
You think they will, if they sweep, they will be an all-time great team?
I think it's the most fun conversation to have. And you can start, like you're saying, like, well, if Mike Brown's going into the Hall of Fame, if we think Brunson's going to go into the Hall of Fame and be the best player in franchise history, and Cat, you've said, is a Hall of Famer, all of a sudden you're like, anything else weird? Like, oh, and by the way, 3 of the guys were together and won a championship in college, so they were a unique group of guys and a true team. Not like, to your why you don't like the 82-0 game, where it's like, it's just stat counting and superstars, they don't match up. Well, what if this team is more than the sum of its parts? Does that catapult you up, and you're not just saying this superstar is better than that superstar?
I do get that it'll feel more sticky even if they don't win the title next year, but if they rip off an amazing regular season next year. And
if they do that and don't win it, though, I don't think we'll look at them as all-time great team.
So here might be the and I know we got to go, but the silver lining to it, KW. Mm-hmm. When we say all-time, who's the greatest team in NBA history, you're going to get like 7 different answers. Like there's a.
But they all going to be laden with superstars.
No, correct.
Every team.
But they could become something I think more special, which is the go-to example for years of the way people bring up the 07 New York Giants.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Of like a team that peaked at the end. You know, there are certain teams that we use as examples of, hey, that's why this team could do it. This, if they finish this off, every team that goes into the playoffs after a good but not great regular season is going to have a press conference where somebody references, and I bet for years in the future, like, no, we just hit our stride, and we're going to show you, like that Knicks team did. You know what I mean? What we can be. Like, I think they will be remembered in a way that some of the all-time great teams aren't remembered by the casual
Their memories will be great.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.